The 570S is the first sports car that McLaren Automotive has ever made, according to the people who have made it. But what does that mean? And why is it such a significant statement to be making at this moment in time? It means that the £143,000 570S is not all about going as fast as possible, even though it is, without question, a very fast car indeed. Instead, says McLaren, the 570S is as much about having fun as it is about going quickly. Hence the reason why its new carbon fibre tub is conventionally suspended, and why its steering, exhaust note and even its gearbox are all more analogue in their responses than any previous McLarens. Does it work as a package, or has McLaren come up with the answer to a question that no supercar driver has yet bothered to ask?
Well, I think the undeniable answer is yes, it does. The 570S really does make sense as a package. I've driven it in all sorts of different circumstances now, on the track, on the road, dual carriageways, and it's quite a different departure for McLaren, because they have engineered it to move around a lot more beneath you, to have a lot less grip than a lot of the cars, than in fact all the cars that they've produced up until this moment in time. And this is why they're calling it a sports car rather than a supercar. And you know what? They're absolutely telling the truth. This thing feels like a sports car. It responds like a sports car. No, it is not glued to the road. It doesn't have perfect grip. We live in an era where cars are getting faster and faster all the time, and I don't care about that. What matters is the driver involvement, and the driver involvement in this thing is right off the dial. 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.1 seconds, 0 to 100 miles an hour in 6.3 seconds. That's absolutely as fast as the McLaren F1 was all those years ago. Top speed 204 miles an hour. It's properly quick still, but it's the handling of the 570, the steering of the 570 that really matters most. The steering is a bit heavier than before in any other McLaren. I mean, it's still got massive amounts of grip compared with a normal car, but it just doesn't have that hyperspace feel that supercars have. It feels like a proper sports car, and I love them for building a car like this. The gearbox is the same 7-speed dual clutch that appears in all McLaren's other cars, but again they've tweaked the software to make it just a little bit kind of punchier and more alert, and it works brilliantly. I mean, you cannot change gear faster than that with your own hands and your own brain. This gearbox is brilliant. The engine is still fundamentally the same 3.8 litre twin turbo V8 as appears in every other McLaren automotive car, but 30% of it is new, reckon McLaren, and they've really concentrated on getting the kind of personality right at the top end particularly, and with the noise it makes. And you know, the noise it makes is pretty flipping special. That's a turbocharged engine, remember? Turbos aren't supposed to sound good. This one sounds fantastic. You get carbon ceramic brakes as standard, as you do with all other McLarens, and it really does stop. Not just on a sixpence, but the feel through the pedal is really good. That quite often goes out the window with carbon ceramic brakes, but the pedal feel, the brake feel in this car, I don't see how you could make it any better. The dashboard is also new. Well, much of the interior is new. You've even got vanity mirrors up here for the first time in a McLaren. And that's because they've deliberately tried to make the 570S that little bit more usable every day. So, the tub is 85mm lower, which just makes it that much easier to get in and out. There are door pockets. They've done a stereo with Bowers and Wilkins. For the first time, McLaren has realised that people who drive cars like this also want to listen to music on the move. And it's a really hot stereo, very good indeed. And the dashboard is just that little bit simpler, a little bit clearer. They're just kind of learning as they go along all the time, McLaren, making everything in the car that little bit better. So what's the conclusion about the 570S? Well, you probably won't be that surprised to hear that I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's a pretty bold move on McLaren's behalf to kind of say, not worried about the downforce, not worried about the lap times, not really worried about how fast it is relative to our closest rivals. What we're worried about the most is how it drives, how it feels on the move, how it sounds on the move. And I just think that's such a refreshing departure, particularly from a company like McLaren that's always been based on kind of raw results. Nah, no question, the 570S is so good and so kind of more alive than everything they've produced so far. I predict that they're going to put more of what's in this car in their cars of the future. That is how good the 570S is.
Click on the video windows to watch first drives of the new Ferrari 488 Spider and the Lamborghini Aventador SV, and click on our logo to subscribe to our channel.